Good morning, students. Earlier we have completed our fifth unit, that is organizing, and in the organizing we have studied about the various organizational structure like functional and divisional, and now we are going ahead with the process of management, and today we will start unit 6, that is staffing. And in this unit we will learn about various aspects of human resource management, or we can say employee management, how to appoint them and what is the process. So let's start with the concept. Staffing is a process of searching, selecting a particular employee which is suitable for the particular post. It is direct related to the hiring of employees and their growth and development, because as you all know that the employees are the main resources of our organization as compared to other resources. Other resources like our capital, our assets like land, building, plant, machinery, they are useless without the human resource. So it is the most important resource of our organization and we have to manage them properly. That's why earlier it is known as employee, but now today's we call them human resource. So the process of staffing is very lengthy, and I have told you earlier that in each and every chapter after planning there is a process, and in the process there are several rules, like you have to write all the points in an order, and if you write any point which is not in the order but it is correct, it will not be evaluated. So keep in mind, and generally we write only 6 points because in business studies only 6 mark question can be asked. But in case of process, if there are 8 point, 9 point or 12 point, then also we have to write the complete process. We cannot restrict or limit ourselves to just 6 points. But in all other topics except process, you have to write only 6 points in maximum marks. So let's start with the process. This entire process is of 8 points, and the first point is estimating the manpower requirement. Estimating the manpower requirement starts when we finishes off the organizing step. In the organizing step, we have prepared organizational chart, like earlier we have at the top level general manager, then there are several other managers, then under each manager there are some supervisors, and under each supervisor there are workers. So for this organizational chart, or we can say our organizational chart is only a chart. We have to know which type of work or what type of task has to be done in the organization and what type of specialist is required for a particular post. So first of all, we focus on workforce analysis, and workforce analysis means that how much employees do we need. It depends totally upon the organizational structure, and after careful study of organizational structure we can create the post. and give advertisement in the newspaper or media, and then they will apply in our organization. So manpower planning focus on two aspects. First is the workforce analysis and the another one is workload analysis. Now in workload analysis we have to see that each employee must get that particular amount of work which he can do effectively and efficiently, not less than that and not more than that. Otherwise they may be burdened and they try to get rid of the job or they will leave our organization. So for estimating manpower requirement, we have to carefully analyze our organizational structure, that is in previous chapter, and then after we create the post, advertise in the media. Then the next point is recruitment. Recruitment is a process in which we try to attract the outsiders, or we can say prospective employees, to apply in our organization. So for that we have to advertise in such a manner that they will attracted towards our organization. Like we can say there are various features of organization. If you join, there are good compensation package, or we can say salary or wages, conducive working environment, and there are various perks, or we can say financial benefits. So through this the employee may be motivated to apply in our organization. Then the third point is selection. Now out of the prospective pool of employee which we have gathered in the second point, means there are lots of application in our office and we have to select the best or the suitable candidate out of them for a particular post. So there are various points in this, and there is a process in the process, which means it is a staffing process, but its few points are also a process. Like selection is also a process and it is very detailed. So in short, we will learn that the employees which had applied earlier to our organization, we will create a pool and out of them we will select the best employee through various methods. Like we can have the screening of applications. Those who are suitable will be selected, those are underqualified will be rejected. Then after we can hold a written examination, then after a medical examination can be done, then after we can have an interview with the prospective employee, and after all these things then we can appoint them. So selection is the detailed procedure which will be separately told to you later on. After selecting the employee, there are two words, placement and orientation. Placement here means, suppose this is a office and here is the general manager or top level, and there are various offices of particular post, suppose manager 1, 2, 3, 4. Then placement means here occupying the post for which you have applied. After appointment, you will be shown your office and handed over the charge. Orientation means familiarizing the new employee with others. So always keep in mind that placement and orientation are two different words. Placement means occupying the position or post, and orientation means familiarizing or introducing the new employee to existing employees. It is also known as induction training or generally induction. Then in the next point, training and development, there are also 2 points. When an employee settle down in our organization, then we have to see that whether the employees is growing or not. Means personally and professionally both growth are required here. He must be updated to the latest techniques of production or management or whatever his work is there. So for the betterment of employee, we have to give them training. In some organization, already trained employees are appointed, but in some specific organization, after appointment training starts. Like in Indian Army, a normal person is appointed, then after his training starts. But in management, a trained MBA, or in accountancy, a trained CA, experienced CA is appointed and he directly working on the job. There is no requirement of their training. So it depends on the type of organization. So for betterment of employee, we give them training, and for their development also, because training improves their personal and professional qualification and make them eligible for higher post. The next point is performance appraisal. Performance appraisal here means that when an employee is performing for a particular time period, then after there are several observations being made, and these observations are the basis upon which an employee can be promoted, transferred, demoted, or can be fired. If his performance is good, he is learning each and everything, then he will be promoted to higher post. If he is not suitable for that particular type of job, then his department can be changed. And if he is performing well in that particular, then also his department can be changed for a new unit. And he can be demoted for his bad work. And if he is not useful for us, then we can fire them also. So it is a very crucial stage. It is similar to the report card of a student, upon which he can be promoted to next class or can be detained into the same class. So performance appraisal is similar to the process of examination or evaluation or the process of report card making. Then after performance appraisal, promotion and career planning is done. Means if he is suitable for the job and he learned each and everything and he is performing well, so we can promote him to the next post, and we can develop a career plan for them, or we can have an alternative organization. Suppose there are a diversified organization, so we can give them a new department under new organization also. Then last point is compensation. In this point, we develop their salary package, and it is also a very rigorous process because the compensation are now very complex. It includes various aspects like we can say basic salary plus DA plus HRA. So they are very confusing, so let them have to be understood. The compensation or salary can be like this: basic salary plus DA plus HRA plus MA plus TA, and there are lots of perks. So it is the basic salary, and all these things are after salary. These are known as perks. It is a short form of perquisites. So let's discuss them in detail. Basic salary, suppose we are giving them 60,000 rupees plus DA here means dearness allowance, how much things are or the prices of things are moving up due to inflation, so we give them dearness allowance. It is for price rise. So suppose it is 5,000, then we give them HRA. HRA has also two conditions. First of all, the full form of HRA is house rent allowance, means the employee can avail one of the two facilities. Either he can take a house provided by the organization, or he can take the rent and live outside the campus of the organization in rent. So two conditions are there. In house rent allowance, say the rent is given to him 8,000 rupees. Either he will take rupees 8,000, or he will take the house provided by the organization. Then there is a MA, that is medical allowance, say 5,000. It is also provided to employees. Either they will get the medical allowance, or they will get the free medical treatment at the organization. Then there is a TA, that is traveling allowance. Suppose it is 10,000 rupees. So total salary will be 60, 75, 80, 83 or 5, 88, approximately 88,000. And there are also various methods, like suppose we are giving or we are developing a salary package for a salesman. Then for salesmen it is different. For a salesman we can develop the plan with incentives, like basic salary plus incentive. Suppose basic salary is 20,000 and incentive is 10% of sales. Now in case of salesman 1, he is getting 20,000 and his sales is, suppose it is 2 lakh, then its 10% will be 20,000 and total salary will be 40,000. And salesman 2, he is also getting 20,000, but his sales is more than him, let's say 5 lakh. So 10% will be 50,000 and he will get in total 70,000. In salesman third case, he is also getting 20,000 plus his sales is say 80,000. Then he will get 8,000 only, and total salary will be 28,000. So in case of salesman or marketing team, we develop such type of plan where the salary can vary or it will be totally different from other person at the same post, because their total salary, or we can say basic salary, is fixed, but the incentive which is given to him may rise or may decline. It totally depend upon their performance. And there are various plans, lots of plans which are developed by the earlier authors of several books, and management is also deriving new plans day to day for a good compensation package. In this case, salesman 2 is getting the highest salary, 70,000. So salesman 1 and 3 will be motivated to perform better because they are getting very less amount as compared to salesman 2. So it is just for the motivation of employee, that how he will be motivated, we develop such type of plan. So student, it is in short. If you have any problem or any query, you can ask me, I'll explain to you. Thank you.